Hello, this is not a notes video. You're welcome. This is just a review on a few little tricky things that we've shown you that some of you have gotten tripped up on before, and I want to make sure that you feel a little bit more comfortable with before you take your quiz and we move on to word problems. So here we have x over 4 is less than or equal to negative 2. Okay, whether it's an inequality or an equation that you're trying to solve, remember the whole point is to get that variable alone on its side, okay? Because we want to know what x is in relationship to other things. So when I say what operation do you see, a lot of you have been looking at any negatives you see on the right side or on the side without the variable. You're only concerned with the variable, okay? You want to get it alone. You can think of it as the variable that we usually start with is an x. Okay, you might have k's or b's or m's or whatever, but you want to get your x alone. Your x went out and got a new boo. Okay, now they're attached, joined at the hip, and you don't like it. It makes you uncomfortable. It makes you angry. You want to get your x alone again, which is terribly not a good life lesson. Don't actually take this to heart. But in math, go for it. It's funny. Get your x alone. Okay, so I'm going to focus all in on my x. What do I see with it? I see a line and a 4. Remember, this line is like a fraction, and it is a fraction, and fractions are little tiny division problems, okay? If we made this a decimal, we would do x divided by 4 to get a decimal. This is division, okay? And what undoes division? If I divide something and I want to undo it and find my original, I need to go back and multiply to undo it. Okay, so I'm going to multiply by 4 to get rid of that 4 and get my x alone. Okay, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. It's karma, man. It's going to come get you. All right, so if I multiply by 4 on the left, I have to do it on the right. Otherwise, you're just left with negative 2. And I know x divided by 4 is less than or equal to negative 2 is not the same as x is less than or equal to negative 2. Okay. So, and then I also have a lot of people asking why 4 times 4 cancels it out. Well, that's not necessarily what you're doing. What you're doing here is 4 is the denominator, meaning I have a numerator. Okay, what do you think it is? Well, I have 1x. This is a 1x. I don't need to write it. I know it's 1x. If it was 2x, I would write it. Okay, but this is 1x. So really what we're doing is 4 times what is 1/4? To do a whole number times a fraction, you got to put it over 1. And now when you multiply, you get 4 times 1 is 4. And you get 1 times 4 is 4. When you simplify this, 4/4 is just 1. And 1 times x is just x. That's why when you see division and you multiply, okay, that 4 on bottom times a 4 on top, that's why those cancel out. Okay, you don't have to go through this whole fraction business every single time. Just know if you see divided by 4, multiply, they cancel out. It leaves you with x. Okay. On the right side, negative 2 times x. Remember, with integers, you multiply like normal. 2 times 4 is 8. And this is when you use your triangle, or you remember a negative times a positive gives you a negative, okay? So we're thinking x is less than or equal to negative 8, okay? I'm going to tell you that's right, but on your tests, when you're not sure or when you have it solved, you still need to go back and plug it in to check, okay? That's going to be your foolproof way. You could make a 100 on inequalities test if you go back through and double check every one. It's built in, foolproof, okay? So let's double check. Our original was x on top, so I'm going to write negative 8 on top, divided by 4, okay, is less than or equal to negative 2. So let's check it. What is negative 8 divided by 4? Well, 8 divided by 4 is 2, and a negative divided by a positive is still negative. So is negative 2 less than or equal to negative 2? True? Yeah, because we have that or equal to piece. Negative 2 is to still make this true. Negative 2 is or equal to negative 2. This still works. Okay, so this is right. Actually, that wasn't even the whole point. Did we get -2 when we did that? Yes, we did. Okay. All right, now when it comes to graphing the solution to show just all of the possibilities of what x could be, remember when we come down and graph it, I'm not asking you to just circle and shade things. I'm asking you to show me on a number line all the possibilities of x. A lot of people have asked me, what do you mean by what is a solution? Could this be a solution? That just means, could that be a possible answer for x? Okay. So if x is less than or equal to -8, we know we're going to start at -8. And then here's where a lot of people have been messing up also. Is it an open circle or a closed circle? Okay. Open circles means it's not including that number. Okay. So that means x is either greater than or less than it. Those two symbols have open circles. If I close my circle, that's when it includes the number it's on. That's when it says or equal to. Okay. So that would be your less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. If you see that little half an equal sign line at the bottom, when you see that little equal sign, you know it's going to have to be a closed dot. Okay. It's open if it does not include the number you're starting on, and it's closed if it could include the number you're starting on. Okay. And x is less than or equal to that. So less than always means we're going to go to the left. To the left on a number line always gets smaller. I had a lot of people get confused because this is -8 and this is a 12. 12 is bigger than 8. Not when they're negative. Remember, I would rather owe somebody $8 than owe them 12. Okay, this is a smaller amount of money. That means I have even less money in my pocket. Okay. Farther to the left on a number line, the smaller the number gets. Okay. If you have any questions about anything that we've talked about here, please raise your hand and ask and clarify before you get started on your quiz.